Hey everyone, and welcome to another edition of Ron Swanson's List of Sweatiness. Today, Parks and Recreation Season 4. Now, the overall story arc of this season, Leslie Knope is running for city council, and that is the whole crux of the series, the season. I am your friendly neighborhood soda as always, and once again, I am joined by Ben Rayner. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Good day today.
Yeah, I had no lunch break. I've still got a lot more to do after this. It's a long day. To be back in the workforce. Gotta love
it. Everything's opening up, which is good and yet missing.
Yep. But speaking of opening up, like let's just hop right into season 4 because, like I said, this is the season where Leslie Knope runs for city council. So we get to meet her person she's running against, played by the great Paul Rudd as Bobby Newport. Yeah, there were some very special treats this season.
Yeah, everywhere there's a little thing that kind of reminds me of Friends in this season. Monica and Chandler hit the relationship, and because Leslie is running for cancer, she and Ben had to hide their relationship.
Yeah, I personally think that was more purely coincidental.
No, it was. I'm just saying, to me,
yeah,
I like that trope.
It is. It's just this one is they're on the opposite sides of the spectrum from each other because one, it makes total sense because you don't want to jeopardize your job. The other one's because you're too chicken to let your friends find out.
Well, to be fair, they were both bad luck dating.
Yeah.
And Chandler and Monica. And they had a feeling it was something special, but they still wanted to take time. And anytime you tell your friends, it speeds things up, and they didn't want that to happen quite yet. I understood.
And if it did happen, we wouldn't have my favorite episode of Friends.
There you go.
All right.
So let me get started. Matt, what's your number 5?
Okay, so my number 5, is actually the season finale, Win, Lose, or Draw.
Slight fun.
Okay.
My number 5 is the season premiere. I am Leslie Knope.
Not on any of my list.
The main thing of this is Leslie had to find the courage to tell Ben she's running for councilwoman and they can't see each other anymore. So what does she do? She runs away to one's cabin and finds one who is all decked out in his cabin clothes and a nice, thick cabin beard.
Right, but you forgot why he's there. Because Tammy One's in town.
Yeah, I was about to say that. What did you think of this episode, Matt?
It was a great way to start the season and to see where the threads lead off. Because Ron Swanson in seclusion, man. Whew. Ron Swanson, anything, but especially when he opens the door and you just see like you could tell he hasn't shaved or showered in months.
Now you hit off of it really convinced to this. Do you think that was a real mood?
Yeah. Yeah, I do.
Okay.
I do. Okay. I mean, it's a season premiere, and the stuff where we see Ron at the very beginning was probably filmed at the end of season 3.
Right. Okay.
So, yeah.
So, yeah, that's my number 5. What's your number 4?
Sweet 16.
Not on any of my honorable mentions.
Let's see which one's got the better synopsis. Yeah, it's IMDb today. Okay, Leslie's attempts to balance her campaign with her job results in major blunders on both fronts. Chris becomes attached to Andy's dog Champion, and April gets fed up with Tom and Ann coming to her for relationship advice. So it's revealed in this episode that Jerry is a leap year baby. So technically he is 16 years old. And Leslie, to prove that she is indeed capable of balancing a counselor campaign and her normal Parks and Recreation work job, decides to throw Jerry a Sweet 16 party. But of course, a lot of things go wrong, most of which is she forgets to invite Jerry. And then it's stuff happens. She ends up falling asleep on Jerry. They don't celebrate tonight. Most people have left, everything. And so she finally admits that, you know what, maybe she's been biting off more than she can chew, which Ron had been trying to tell her all episode. And they finally agree that she's going to cut back her workload to 10% per week, or to 10 hours per week instead of however many she was doing. But yeah, this is where she realizes, you know what, I need to, as Ron Swanson put it, don't half-ass two things, whole-ass one thing.
Yeah, the best things, doesn't he?
It's true. The best things, but they make sense. They're very good. There's very good philosophy. Ron Swanson is a philosopher.
Absolutely.
Don't tell him that.
No. I love this episode. I mean, it's not on my honorable mentions, but it's so damn good.
It highlights. It has one of my favorite aspects, and it's Ron and Leslie's talks.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and thank God in the final season we get a whole episode of that.
Yeah.
But enough about that.
Not a porno episode, I believe, too, right?
Yeah. No. The whole episode has to take place for it to be a model episode, would have had to take place in the Parks Department, but it does not. Okay, so what is your number 4? I'm assuming this is the slight punt?
Yes, and you could explain it.
So it is election day for Leslie, and Ben is contemplating an offer to help work on a campaign in Washington. Meanwhile, Andy tries to help April rescue the files she deleted from the Parks Department computers. So it's election day. And of course, everyone's on edge because the whole time, Leslie, it was very, very tight. And if I'm not mistaken, Bobby Newport was leading by like just the thinnest of margins. They do the voting. Newport won, but because it was only by 6 votes, they did a recount, and it was flipped, and Leslie won by 6, and it was confirmed, and she became the new councilwoman. And the scene where Anne tells her is beautiful.
Yeah, it's a great episode.
Yeah, because Anne decides to pull a trick on her and tells her that she lost again. And then she gets the realization, congratulations, Counselor Leslie. Nope. Wow. It's a big moment for the show. It really is.
How did you feel about Ben taking on Trump?
I'm perfect. I mean, I'm fine with it. Like, I don't know what I can say about that. Like, I mean, he needed to do something, and yeah, I had no problem with it.
Okay, yeah, me too. It's a great episode. I love how we see a whole season conclude with this election day. Love Bobby Newport's character. Love the Bobby's campaign manager played by the funny Catherine Hahn, which had a great Step Brothers reunion because Catherine Hahn and Adam Scott were both in that movie as a married couple.
I saw it once when it came out. Didn't care for it then.
Yeah, they were married in that movie, and yet she had a heart for John C. Reilly's character.
So is he their brother?
Yeah.
Whose brother?
He's Will Ferrell's brother.
Oh, okay.
Who sang a great song, Goats and Hoes.
Okay.
No. I'm sorry. That was real fair John C. Reilly. Yeah, forget that. But yeah.
Okay, and so since this is the season finale, there were several loose threads that were ended throughout the season. One being, as Ben mentioned, Ben accepts Jennifer's offer and to go work in Washington. Ron turns down the assistant city manager position because Chris had been courting him throughout the season to fill Ben's position, which we probably will get to later. John Ralphio asked Chris for the job, but he is, of course, turned down immediately. And Leslie thanks her friends and supporters with a heartfelt speech. She previously asked Ben about the concession speech that he wrote, but he reveals that he never wrote it. And then in the post-credit scene, a drunk Anne gets back together with Tom, and they even agree to move in together. Oops. And in the B plot, April's freaking out because she accidentally deleted all the files in the Parks Department. Andy's trying to get her to calm down. They decide to call Dawn in because she's the tech person. Turns out she's always got a backup copy on reserve because Jerry's always accidentally deleting files. Yeah.
So we're in a connectivity error this time.
Literally was a connectivity error. Yes. Yeah. Little known fact about this episode: Amy Poehler submitted this episode for consideration due to her nomination for the Primetime Emmy for Outstanding Lead Actress at the 64th Emmy Awards.
Right.
Yeah.
Who
won? No. Julia Louis-Dreyfus won for Veep.
Of course she did. And I can't even be mad at that because she's great and everything.
Yeah. I'm just trying to see if she's actually ever won for playing Leslie Knope, to be honest.
I don't think so. Maybe.
Golden Globe. 2013, she won the Golden Globe for Best Actress.
Nice.
Good, because it would have been a miscarriage of justice. She's never won for Parks and Rec. All right, so my number 3 then, I guess.
Yeah.
It is the penultimate episode, Bus Tour.
It's like Hunt.
Again, okay. What's your number 3?
I think they might get punted too. One is Tammy's.
No, it's on my honorable mentions.
It's not the fun.
No, seriously, it's on my honorable mentions.
Well, okay. We're in the picnic list. One is all flashy because Tammy 1 comes into play and gets her hooks into one. He shaves his classic mustache and goes up frippy looking. So much so they have to call in one's mother, Tammy Zero, to come in. And the 2 Tammys have a drinking off with Leslie, I believe, right?
Yeah. Oh, God, yeah.
I love it. What are your feelings?
So this is a continuation of something that was introduced in the season 3 finale, and of course, the very first episode that we had already talked about. I Am Leslie Knope. Basically, Ron is once again sucked into the clutches of a Tammy, but unfortunately, this time it's Tammy 1. And what's weird is whenever that happens with a Tammy, he takes on different personality traits. With the other Tammy, he becomes all happy because he's getting laid and stuff like that, and he's giving people money. With Tammy 1, he becomes basically the good boy. Like, he's very subservient. Yes, dear. He doesn't do things without running it by Tammy. And Leslie is like, yeah, we've got to stop this. So they bring in Tammy Zero, who decides to challenge, I can't remember who challenged who, but they challenged somebody to a drink off. Now, oh my Lord, the alcohol they use is a homemade brew that, like, according to Ron, can, like, take things. I'm trying to find the quote. God damn it, IMDb, you suck today. Because it was like 98% alcohol or something like that. It looked like water. Leslie, after a couple shots, was like 20 sheets to the wind while the Tammys were perfectly fine. And Ron, you know what? He sees Leslie. It's like, you know what? Let's end this. And he grabs the moonshine jug and drinks. It has to be what? 2/3?
Something like that.
And just, all right, we're done here. And it's like, oh my God, the Swansons have a high alcohol tolerance.
Look at that couple.
Right?
Look at that.
Ugh. Played by the great Patricia Clarkson. Patricia Clarkson is an excellent actress, and she fits right in.
Yeah.
So, Tammy Zero challenges Tammy 1 to a prairie drink-off of highly alcoholic Swanson family mash liquor. Mash liquor is high-proof liquor and is generally illegal. Yeah. I.e., it's enough to take the paint off of a bumper.
Oi.
All right. So that was your number 3. So my number 2 is End of the World.
Not on my list.
Good, because I see there's a slight bunt again. You son of a bitch.
No.
Okay. A cult predicting the end of the world reserves a park. Leslie becomes jealous when another woman takes interest in Ben. Tom throws a huge party for the closing of Entertainment 720, and Andy and April try to do something stupid. Shocker. So basically, this is a group of people that were mentioned occasionally throughout the series. They are called the Reasonableness, aka the Zorpus. Basically, it's making fun of the crazy people that believe the world's going to end tomorrow, and then when it doesn't end, I misread it. It ends in a month. It's basically all they're doing. Ron Swanson knows damn well about this, so he makes it the perfect opportunity to sell his handmade recorders and flutes, because that's one of the things that these people do is they play the flute while they're waiting to die. So Ron makes a killing as usual. That's the only reason why he's there, and Leslie and Chris are there because government employees, they have to be there to supervise and what have you. So that's a fun time. Meanwhile, Entertainment 720 is pretty much bankrupt. It has to close its doors. So what do John Ralphio and Tom do? They decide to take all their money and they decide to throw it into one last bash, like one last blowout. And at the end of the episode, everyone agrees it's the best party they've ever been to. And then that's the end of Entertainment 720 because the two are idiots and didn't get clients. I
need one to say this real quick. I don't think Tom is an idiot without John Ralphio.
The only thing with John Ralphio is that Tom is able to do the stupid stuff. He's always coming up with stupid stuff.
Yeah.
And so at this point, Ben and Leslie have broken up because, she wants to run for office. They can't have the relationship in public. So they decide to break up. And Shauna Mulway-Tweep, who is the reporter you see occasionally in the series, flirts with Ben. And it looks like there's something that's popping up. But later, when she flirts with Ben and asks him to join her at the End of the World party, they don't do anything. So they decide to go to Entertainment 720 instead. And then also Andy and April decide to complete Andy's bucket list, which they complete with the only one thing missing is the Grand Canyon. So what do? They take April's dad's car and they drive to the Grand Canyon. And when they get there, it's a beautiful shot. It's just the two of them. It's a very lovely shot. He's like, so we're the people with the faces. He meant Mount Rushmore.
Gotta love Andy. Andy.
Yeah. Hi, Vay. Overall, great episode. It everyone's got a great story. And that's one of the things I love about this show is that, there are A, B, C plots, but it feels like they're not, some plots are not sacrificed for the material. You know what I mean? Like everyone seems to be getting their equal share.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah, and then, of course, Leslie admits to Ron in this episode that she would want to spend her last night with Ben if the world was ending, to which Ron reminds Leslie that the world is not ending, so she must accept her decision to prioritize her political career over Ben. As we all know, she does not.
No.
All right.
My number 2 is the affirmation.
Allergies.
My number 2 is the affirmation. Oi.
The father of Bobby Newport dies suddenly while Lindsay is on a critical campaign swing through the city. Leslie, not Lindsay. Andy tries to figure out who pie-faced Jerry a few nights earlier, believing the target to be Leslie. So it's like the home stretch. They're coming up to the end of the election. Unfortunately, yeah, Nick Newport Sr., damn it, passes away. Now, the dude was old as hell, so, I mean, it was inevitable. Unfortunately, before she's told that he passed away, a reporter asks her what she thinks of Nick Newport Sr., to which she badmouths him, and then only to find out, why would you say that about a dead man? Whoops. So, they decide to go up to Bobby Newport to make amends. The only thing that they have is the tour bus that is on, which has her face plastered all over the side. So they figured, you know what, we'll go up to that mansion. We'll apologize to Bobby Newport. Whoops, press conference. What happens? They drive in with the bus. Whole shenanigans ensue. Yeah. Just fun time. And when it comes to the pie case, literally Andy spends the whole time trying to figure it out. He's like doing his old amateur sleuthing thing. He even uses permanent marker on a television screen at one point. And it's revealed that the target wasn't Leslie, it was actually Ben. And the person who threw it was former Sanitation Joe, who had been fired by Ben in the previous season because he had, or earlier in the season, sorry, because he had emailed a picture of his yin yang to everybody. Yeah. Yeah.
Now, you kept saying Andy was on the case, but not how do we put Macklin on the case?
Same difference, really. And then, of course, when Andy finally catches Joe, he's gloating, but he forgets to actually stop him, and Ben still gets hit with a pie. Yep. Fun episode. I would consider this a bottle episode in a way because it's very contained. There's really only a couple, like most of it's on the revolving on the bus. Like this is more resembles a bottle episode, not a full one, but overall, great episode.
No. So they were set up to go to Papa's house to apologize, knowing there was a press conference there, right?
No, they didn't know.
No, they said, it was waiting on Catherine Hahn's idea for her to go. Or am I remembering that?
I think you're remembering it wrong. I think it was just purely coincidence. Like it was just bad luck.
All right.
Yeah, and also there is the B plot that we didn't mention. Mike O'Malley plays a rental company manager who had originally offered to rent out Leslie's campaign for buses to get Leslie to the poll, whatever. But the Newports came out and offered him 10 grand per vehicle or some of that to just park it. So there's a whole bunch of shenanigans there, and they ended up tricking the guy with into donating them. And he's pissed.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so now let's do the honorable mentions. You go first.
2016 meet and greet.
That's it?
Yeah.
Okay. I've got Bowling for Votes, campaign ad, the debate, which was directed. Wrong episode. I was thinking the treaty. Actually, no, the debate was directed by Amy Poehler.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I was thinking of another episode which was directed by one of the Lonely Island guys. And then my final one is the trial of Leslie Knope, because that is a damn good episode.
Funny you can say that.
So now we know Ben's number one.
Real quick about bowling. What is the name of it? The bowling episode?
Bowling for Votes.
I love the tag at the end. The whole episode you see Tom bowling one way and one.
Oh God, yeah.
One telling him it's a stupid way to bowl. So at the very end of the episode, you see one show up in disguise at the bowling alley, go to the last aisle, and then bowl like Tom, and he got like a perfect 300.
You got a perfect game.
And as he was leaving, the guy was like, "Should we put your picture and your name up on the wall?"
I was never here. Yeah.
Man, I love Ron Swanson.
He walks in with a cap and sunglasses, like totally incognito, as if he would, go against his manhood. But
I love Ron Swanson.
Okay, so you already buried the lead. We'll just do your number one.
The trial of Leslie Knope.
Whoa, this was a great episode.
Leslie's on trial because she was found out about her and Ben's relationship. So
Well, they told her. They told him.
Oh, okay. They
Yeah.
told. So maybe we have to defend. They have to defend it. And the route they go in is great. It's a great episode. I love seeing it. And I love the outcome. What are your thoughts on this episode?
Okay, so I'm just going to go through the plot because I figured for the number ones, they deserve the full plot. After the events of the previous episode, Leslie Knope and Ben Wyatt agreed to confess their romantic relationship to their boss, Chris Traeger. Chris reluctantly launches an investigation between Leslie and Ben and holds trials for possible ethics violations. To overcome his depression over the hearing, Chris takes an extreme amount of vitamins and supplements. In the first trial, Leslie admits her relationship with Ben to the ethics committee, but denies any possible corruption or wrongdoing as a result of dating her superior. Unfortunately, Chris announces that he has numerous witnesses to prove her and Ben's special treatment towards one another, as well as possible bribery. Now, the person that they bring in is the guy who in the season 3 finale, Leslie and Ben bribed because they got caught kissing. And this is the guy that went home, which caused Jerry to fill the thing with lighter gasoline and caused the fireball to explode in Rod's face, which is what, yes! You're a good man. Okay. Although Leslie manages to deflect most of the witnesses' arguments brought to the trial, one of the witnesses is rumored to be extremely important to the case. Leslie and Ron initially believe that the important witness is Ron's ex-wife, Tammy 2. It is revealed to be George Williams, an electrician who was bribed by Leslie and Ben with a kiss certificate to ignore their kiss at Little Sebastian's memorial service. Knowing she risks being fired, Leslie asked the park department to help her find a loophole out of the situation. When the team is unsuccessful, Ron convinces Leslie to concede to the committee. Surprisingly, Leslie is only suspended for 2 weeks with pay. Chris reveals that Ben held a private meeting with the committee and took full blame for the bribery, effectively resigning as assistant city manager. After the trial, Chris apologizes to Leslie and explains that he was only doing his job. He and the stenographer, Ethel Beavers, revealed that Ben said his relationship with Leslie was worth losing his job. He also declares his love for her. Leslie does the same for Ben by hiring Ethel for an addendum to the court transcript later that night. During the credits, Jerry Gergich admits during the trial that his real name is Gary, catching both Leslie and Chris off guard. Now, this is going to be... Time out. Well, folks, the laughs in this season, man. Like, this is when they really hit their stride. No, I was gonna say this might seem out of nowhere, but as I'm rewatching this, I might say Leslie and Ben are the best couple out of all the ones on the shows we reviewed so far.
Wait, I didn't hear something. Ben and Leslie out of everyone, Monica and Chandler, and Zach
they're
and
all
Kelly.
fun. They're all fun, but what these guys have over the others is the sacrifices they make for each other over the course of the series. Ben giving up his job so Leslie can keep hers. What else is there? Obviously, Ben helping her with the congressional campaign. Her helping Ben, supporting Ben while he's working in Washington. Like they tackle real issues in relationships and the lengths they go for each other. It's like, I'm not arguing that the others don't love each other's stuff, but it's just like something about them and the commitment they have to each other.
For me, I have to go Monica and Chandler, but I really think Ben and Leslie are the cutest couple out of all of them.
Oh, they're definitely the cutest, and to be honest, the realest couple.
I can't go that way. I can't go that way.
The reason I'm going that way is because all the others, they feel like sitcom characters, whereas opposed to these two, they feel like they're real people.
We're gonna debate this.
Agree to disagree on that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, right here, number one, my man.
Pawnee Rangers.
Ooh, good one.
Hold on a second. Let me bring it up. All right. Ron Swanson is the leader of a Boy Scout-like group called the Pawnee Rangers, with Andy as his assistant. A girl had previously not been allowed to join the Rangers because it is for boys only. So Leslie created the girls-only Pawnee Goddesses with Ann Perkins and April Ludgate as her assistants. Leslie's determined to prove that her group is better to avenge the past rejection. So she decides to arrange a weekend camping trip for the Goddesses at the same camping ground as the Rangers. Meanwhile, after noticing that Ben Wyatt is feeling down, Donna Meagle and Tom Haverford invite him to their annual Treat Yourself trip, where they spend a day spending extravagantly on things they don't need. Jerry is left alone in his office, so Chris gives him the day off. Jerry invites Chris to have lunch with him and his daughter Millicent Millie Gergich, played by Sarah Wright, and Chris agrees when he sees that Millie is very attractive. I mean, who wouldn't? The Pawnee Rangers become jealous of the Pawnee Goddesses, who appear to be having a lot more fun on the trip as they have puppies and pillow fights and candy, while the Rangers are only given beans and told to build a meager shelter. Leslie, out of a tarpaulin and cardboard. Leslie is glad her efforts to make the boys jealous worked, but the Goddesses, after a public forum, decide to let the Rangers join them if they want to. Every Ranger, including Andy, defects to the Goddesses, making Leslie feel sorry when she spots Ron sitting at a campfire all alone. She apologizes for being so competitive, and Ron laments that children no longer want to learn tough survival skills, admitting Leslie has the better group. To make Ron feel better, Leslie takes out an ad in the paper for a new group of self-reliant survivalists called the Swansons, and Ron is surprised to find a group of eager children, girls and boys, in his office ready to join. Ben is unable to enjoy himself with Tom and Donna, but opens up after splurging on a Batman costume. He starts to cry and tells them about a recent breakup, not mentioning it is Leslie. Chris hits it off with Millie during lunch and tells Jerry that he plans on asking her out on a date and insists on being open with Jerry about their activities. It takes a weird turn the next day when Chris tells Jerry that the date went well and that Millie spent the night at the house afterwards. So what do you think of this episode?
I love this episode. And it is, yeah, I love the moment when Leslie finds out she did all her trip into mini Leslie's, and now she feels like she created a whole bunch of monsters.
You do realize who one of the Pawnee Rangers was, right?
No.
The one who walked up and asked Leslie to join?
Who is it?
Hawk from Cobra Kai.
Oh, shoot, it is him.
It is him, yeah.
You can tell me that, and I just forgot.
Yeah, it's possible. It's possible.
Nice.
Yeah, no, this is such a good damn episode, and also the biggest contribution this gave to the world is treat yourself, which you hear all the time now.
And I love being in a Batman costume.
Fun fact: around this time, I myself had almost about a year prior, I had almost bought myself a Batman costume.
Really?
For my birthday. It was the Arkham Asylum video game Batman costume.
Ooh, nice.
It was at the store that I used to like to frequent called Millennium, where they sold like really cool stuff. Like I bought my Batarangs there, and you used to be able to buy like Wolverine claws and stuff. So I'm downtown. I see it on display. I'm like, oh shit! Okay, it was like my birthday right on the corner. I'm like, okay, I get paid tomorrow. Went to go get it. It was already sold.
Motherfucker.
Exactly. It was only $400.
That's really not that bad.
Yeah, and it was the full head-to-head rubber costume. Like, yeah.
Wow.
I came that close.
Nice. Yeah, that was a great episode on season 4. It's a great effing season.
Yeah, like, I mean, from here, like, all these episodes and all the episodes that we're coming up to next, like, they really don't hit a lull. They really don't.
No,
like The Office, where people say like the last 2 seasons weren't that great, but you don't get that with Parks and Rec.
No, I agree. It keeps getting better and better. And I think we quoted our term last week is sweet crazy.
It is. It is exactly it. Sweet crazy.
The often is more, I don't want to say cynical, wacky crazy. Does that make sense?
It does.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was so much fun.
What do we have to look forward to next week, Matt?
Okay, so in season 5, we have Mrs. Nope Goes to Washington. Leslie and the Parks gang teaching sex education to the elderly. You have April and Leslie competing over whose idea gets to take over the lot. You have the introduction of Ron's love interest going forward. And it really takes a warrior princess to handle someone like Ron Swanson.
Oh shit, is that who that
Are you fucking kidding me? Are you serious?
Yeah. Wow. Okay.
Okay, dude, she has Lucy Lawless, folks. She has looked the same since 1994, just different hair color. Wow. I mean, wow. Of course, we get it is up there for one of the best weddings to happen on a TV show. Leslie and Ben. That spoilers, that's going to be high on my list. I'm just undecided where, but it's going to be high up there. You also have a bugging scandal, which I'm sure was making fun at something that was going on in the news at the time, where the Pawnee Sun was wiretapping Leslie and stealing all her jokes and getting ahead of her stories. Ben returning to his hometown to get the key to the city from the mayor, played by none other than J.K. Simmons.
Do we have the introduction of Warfield's father next season, or is that later?
We meet his sister.
Okay.
But I don't think we meet his dad, the dad, just yet.
Okay.
You have Jerry retiring from the Parks Department. You have, once again, proving how much Pawnee apparently depends on porn. Yeah. Oh, and you have Councilman. I'd have to say this is Councilman Jam's the meanest he's ever been, the most dickish he's ever been, is during the 2-parter correspondence lunch and Leslie and Ben.
Well, I mean,
sorry, emergency response and Leslie and Ben.
I mean, also the introduction of him.
Yeah, that's right. He was introduced at the beginning of the season. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the episode "How a Bill Becomes a Law."
Yep.
Yeah, this is where the series starts to expand into having episodes that take place in other places of the world, and you get more people's lives were flushed out. Like I said, Ron and Diane, which damn.
Yeah, I love the show. You got me hooked. I'm so happy we're doing this.
Yeah,
it is a great show, and I can't wait to continue talking about it.
Yeah, no, I honestly I can't wait to talk about Ron and Diane, because I've conflated the 2 episodes. This is the woodworking one, and oh my god, does it have some of the best comedy between Leslie and Tammy too. I can't wait to talk about that. So, where can everybody find you, Ben?
You guys can find me at Ben_Rainer on Twitter. You can find me right here every Tuesday on Shooting the Brief and Matt here. Every Friday on Recapping the Past. Every Saturday on Get Ready. Also on Saturday, Matt Smalldown. A Smalldown show where we go into players' careers. Except for this summer, we're going into factions. Last week we went into the junction. This week we're going into the exchange.
Right on. Definitely don't forget to check that out. Saturdays at 1 p.m. Pacific time. As for myself, you can find me in all the stuff that Ben has mentioned. No, we don't do that anymore. It's not all the stuff on this channel. You can find me also on this series. You can find me on Shoot the Breeze. You can find me on Get Sweaty Saturday mornings. You can also find me most Friday nights on the Friday night edition of Schmodown Night in Canada. You can also find me occasionally on the Sunday one as well. Also, you can find me producing our Star Wars show on Saturdays, which is Let's Talk About Star Wars. This week, we're doing another tier ranking episode, but we're ranking the Jedi. Definitely check that out. And then next week, we're going to have a big episode. We're definitely going to have a big episode. I'll tell you, Ben, afterwards. So don't miss any of that out. Don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel. Don't forget to watch all the shows we mentioned. It's a great time over on here. We are planning some expansions. I've got a wrestling podcast that I believe is starting next week, actually. Yeah. So it's going to be a great time over here in Schmoes of the North. So thank you very much for joining all of us. And on behalf of myself and Ben Rayner, we will see you next week. And don't forget, everyone, exactly, keep on dancing.